This weapon used to be like a meta contender. Like it was like a part of a meta at one point, which sounds so stupid.
I joke to you.
All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. We're doing a Why Would You Use because D has decided that I am stuck in a time loop after talking about how the regular lens is no longer good enough. They decided to tell me that I can go myself. So that gives us the PRISMA lens, which just came out on Borrow today and is going to be available for the whole weekend. And it is actually good. We have this build on it. So this is a 3 Forma build. And there's a few things on here that are questionable. That mainly being that hammer shot is in this build, but statistically what they've done between the regular lens and this one is we've got 2 more ammo maximum, which doesn't really matter. I'm just going to read these off because chat's there. The charge rate is 0.4 better from 1.2 to 0.8. We go from 2 to 2.8 critical multiplier, which is huge, and we get 11% more status going from 5 to 16, and we get 80 more base damage. So that's a pretty considerable bump. The most important one being critical multiplier. And whenever you give me a 2.8 critical multiplier, it turns out that at some point, hammer shot becomes worth it. This mod is very normally not worth it. It's normally okay-ish. More of like a top 20 considerations for modding on primary weapons as opposed to a top 9 or 10. But yeah, it's here because 2.8 critical multiplier, increasing that by that much is pretty good. Also worth noting, if you have access to it, it is worth trying primary frostbite. So this is on cold status effect, which the lens does on every single shot to every enemy it hits, so you can build this up really fast. 3% critical damage and 2.25 multi-shot for 12 seconds. It stacks up to 40 times. What this ends up being is 120 crit damage and 90% multi-shot. So it is a free split chamber, well, free split chamber and vital sense to just tack on through your arcanes. I found in testing that was actually worse because Merciless just offers so much more base upfront damage, which you'd rather have. And getting less critical damage, I think, is fine. It is worth noting also that bladed rounds is a mod. This is on kill. You get 120% critical damage when aiming for 9 seconds. I do think that if when aiming was not a thing, you would use bladed rounds instead of hammer shot. When aiming is a little iffy, though. You definitely could go this route, and it probably will be better, but you have to always be ADS, which means you have to fire the shot and then wait for it to explode and still be aimed down sight in order for that to give you that damage bonus, which is just a little too finicky for my taste. Also, I'm getting a question in chat. Yes, I did try Frostbite with Serration instead of Hammer Shot. Also, Forma requirements on this. Number 1, you do not need Vigilante supplies. I formatted for this. You absolutely don't need it. It is just a maximization that you can do. The lens comes with ammo mutation, so the top part of this literally does not do anything. We are only installing this for the 5% chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons because we have a whole lot of crit. We have 150% crit chance, starts at 50%, buffed up by critical delay, so on and so forth. Otherwise, we're using primed cryo rounds as a D polarity we put in, and we put a V polarity in so that we could test this with Serration and Frostbite. Other than that, you can drop Vigilante, and then you can change cryo rounds out for the dual stat cold mod. You could rhyme rounds. You can put rhyme rounds in instead of cryo rounds, and then this build actually fits on no Forma at all because it comes with 2 dashes and a V polarity, so that's pretty solid. Also, I am running Vial Acceleration for the fire rate. I would very much recommend it. You really should be running Vial Acceleration. It makes it so you can shoot this thing so fast, and it is so helpful. So yeah. But very surprisingly, this weapon seems to be good, and it's very good at killing Acolytes, which is even more surprising. So yeah, we're going to be rolling this again. We're going to be turning back the clock, apparently, on the jot that we did just recently, because we got a new lens. Yeah, also 2x for bows, so we get the 180% fire rate, so we can fire this thing at will, basically.
Scans show Grenier are harvesting Kuba nearby.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with this weapon.
Then steal their Kuba catalysts.
Like, at first I was like, I don't know if it can do it, but, like, And the moment we got out of the leveling it phase, it really was like, oh no, this is actually like, I would choose this in Steel Path Circuit maybe, actually. It will have like a couple enemy buildup because of course we start with no damage increase, but you'll see that that is actually also still no problem. Also, for anyone that has forgotten, the explosion is line of sight, so you can't just shoot it through walls, unfortunately. And the explosion is delayed, so it does not immediately kill the enemies you shoot it at. But, as you can see, once it's hitting, it's hitting. Like, it is doing pretty good. Is good enough for Acolyte? It is actually very good against the Acolyte. Like, I found this, like, I shot this at the Acolyte, and I was shocked at how good it was at killing the Acolyte. Yeah, if you long for the meta days of the lens, it is not going to be meta. I don't think this is a meta weapon, probably, but I think it's quite good. Yeah, this is the Merciless. This is Merciless Hammer Shot version of the build, for those of you that are wondering what I have switched to and decided on in the chat. Because we did do, if anybody wants to see the other runs, if you're on the YouTube video, we did do it live on stream, did a bunch of different testing runs, looking at like the different variations of the build. So if you want to see those are going to be available in the VOD. And also, if you're seeing this video, I am still fucking live, so you could come hang out. Well, if you're seeing this video and it's the day that it came out, I should clarify. Because I will literally be going the entire rest of the day, because the timer up there has decided that it does not move. It does not go down. I promise you a day has passed. You know that a day has passed because this is a borrow weapon. This didn't exist yesterday. I am just stuck in a perpetual loop. Oh, Sandman, the BP is not tradable for this Inta. It is the one part that is non-tradable. Yeah, man, I can't believe we're entering. Okay, so here's what we're entering. This is the weird shit. This is the weirdness. We have currently the Boltor is a good weapon. The Lex Prime is meta. Like, we're coming up on probably the Soma Prime being like a high tier weapon, the Burstin and the Vosto being weapons that you would use, and like the Lens is a viable weapon. Like, this is weird. What weapons are good is becoming a very strange list. Like, time is convoluted in Lordran shit right now. Oh, it's violence. Oh, I've got some violence for you, all right. Hello. Oh, my cat armor stripped him. Embarrassing. I promise you it kills them just about that fast, but with the armor strip it kills them very, very fast. Sorry, I can't control the cat. The cat does what it wants. Yeah, the cat chose for there to be immense violence. Yeah, cat was pissed off about it. Mad about something. Cat said, oh, violence? Yeah, that the Smita? No, this is a Panzer. It's dead now, but that's kind of its thing. It'll come back. As you can see there, certain Eximus we have a little bit of trouble with. It takes a second. Like, it'll take a couple shots to get him down. But that's not a huge deal. It is notably, like, that Flame Eximus. That's one of the more dangerous ones, and it is one of the ones that takes a second here, though. That's mostly a function of having to wait for the explosions. The Arson Eximus can be a little bit of a problem. This beauty of a bow, yeah. I do think that it would be, like, basically unusable without a fire rate mod, though. So, like, I would not even consider this without a fire rate mod. Because it would just simply be too slow. You probably could go with a worse fire rate mod than what I'm using, and it would probably still be fine. But also, the one that I'm using, it's not super hard to get. You're probably going to get it during your corrupted mod farm anyway. And this weapon's MR12, so I don't really have to worry about people who are super inexperienced getting a hold of this and using it without that. But yeah, if you kept getting the lens on Duviri, it's also worth noting that this will replace anytime the regular lens would show up in Duviri if you have it. So you can have a zero Forma weapon that is quite competent if you go with that other build that I talked about during showing off the build phase. And having a weapon that you don't even have to spend any Forma on, just slap the mods in after leveling it once, like, that will work in Duviri, I think that's fairly compelling. That's a good thing to add to the arsenal. Yeah, the ammo economy is so much better than the Brahma. Like, the damage is not quite where the Brahma is at, I would say. But, the ammo economy just being like, oh, I can just shoot this, is pretty compelling whenever you're comparing it to where the Brahma is now. Because the Brahma really has to pick its shots and is actually bad against Acolytes. They're always just going to run out of ammo. Give me my gun. Yeah, and a catalyst, that's true. I did put a catalyst on it, but, you know. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a little angsty. All right, Cat, try and contain yourself. That's pretty good. Is the lens back? We are so back, boys. Honestly, we are in the era of it's back. Like, legitimately, which is really strange. Except melee. Maybe someday. Where is my gun? Give me that. I am killing enemies. Yeah, now for Incarnate Lens. I would say this is not even, like, the best room for this, really. Because it's got, like, the pillar, which will block the explosion on either side. And a more open room would be probably better. Yeah, it's crazy. What a crazy time to just have, like, especially with, like, I happen to do, like, the regular lens video, like, literally this week. But yeah, the lens is in there. The lens is in there. Of course, cold proc is weird in a single toxin mod. Yeah, if you use a single toxin mod, you can theoretically do some stuff. Also, it is worth noting that if you're in a situation like this, you should be using a Bane instead of Hammer Shot. But Banes aren't good in Duviri, and I wanted to show that this weapon is going to be good in kind of just general content. You don't need to be swapping Banes all the time in order for this weapon to do anything. Banes are objectively going to be more damage, though. But I don't know. The community has pretty much collectively agreed that shit's not fucking worth messing with. And I tend to agree. Are we allowed to look at Reb for making old fan favorites good for the 10-year milestone? Opticore soon. Hey, the Strun is the Opticore now. But yeah, really happy with the... Just like, yeah. Man, very surprised. Very surprised. Like, I mean, pretty solid in like the kills department. Not quite where I would want like a top performing weapon recently, like the Lex or something, but really good. Really good up there. Really solid. All right, everybody. Welcome to Post Duviri Month, and thank you to all of the new and returning patrons. There are a lot of them, and it is hugely appreciated for the support. But we have our $10 patrons: Alex Parnham, Arbiter Daydream, Brutus Salazar, Dylan Dworsky, Ethrain, Hafan, IQ is Thick, James Harsthorne, JC4 Science, Jesse Richens, Joshua Adams, Lou Zanth, Alec X Williams, Minty Ginja, Michta, Paradise, Tamrielic Wastelander, Zach Zahner, and Zerafir to thank especially. But thank you very much to all of the new patrons and everybody that has jumped on board since like Duviri in this last month. It is hugely appreciated and really helps me run the site and just like get a lot of stuff done and get a lot of guides out. This month you can expect me to hit up as many of the incarnates as I can possibly get my hands on, because that is gonna be a big focus here as we see that new stuff, and of course work on more guides and things with the free to play 3 coming back around and all that. Yeah, thanks everyone.